Dean Turlick was a bit of a revelation last year for the Melbourne Footy Club, third in their best and fairest. He averaged 20 disposals a game. He kicked a very nice goal in the first quarter. Great to see Jack Watts there, turning on the speed, bursting away. Make sure you download the Carlton Draft Pick from the App Store right now and get involved in the Draft Pick Trivia for extra points right now. Dean Turlick, nice start for him and a nice start for the Demons here in the first quarter.
Melbourne by 5 points, 2-2-14 to St Kilda 1-3-9. They owned the first part of the quarter, the Demons, and then St Kilda just started to draw the contest with them. Lingy, I know you're about to speak to Paul Roos. What did you make of it all?
Well, exactly that, BT, and Paul Roos at quarter time, very composed with the group, very organised. He's still talking to the players now, just wanting to get his message across, but he must be pleased with the way they started. They were very good early. St Kilda worked their way back into the game, but you could see them playing with a lot of confidence, trying to take the game on a bit. You mentioned Jack Watts, him running, bouncing, carrying the ball. You can see they're playing really, really brave, knowing that they've got a great structure behind them and they can take a few risks because they've got a defence really well set up. Roosie, how'd you see that first quarter? The key stats were all pretty even, but was it just a case of a bit of a lack of composure going forward?
Yeah, I think so. Just our kick from sort of 70 out. They got one rolling back and we didn't handle it well. Yeah, so we just got to get better at those entries.
Tommy McDonald, what's the update on him?
Just got a corky, so I think he'll be okay. He's just warming up downstairs.
Thanks for your time, Roosie. Thanks.
If he done by Lingy, just a fair bit of talk before he got there and straight into it. Nicely done.
One of the great media performers of all time is our man Cameron Lang, the rising star in that industry, and got a huge amount of respect. And he's summed it up pretty well, didn't he? Paul Roos just said, we just got to get some composure going forward. But I think he would have been wrapped, though, with their effort, Richo, and the way, as you said at the start, they looked like a different team. They were more organised, better positioned, better structured.
You just felt confident that each player was going to be in the right position, and when you know your teammates are doing that, it makes the game a lot easier. But in saying that, they started really well, but the Saints fought back well. Their pressure really picked up. They started to get the ball moving forward and really competitive towards the end of the quarter.
All right, second quarter about to get underway. Very low-scoring affair.
Not contestable.
Not contestable, says the umpire. And they had a few ordinary bounces here last night too. I still think that they should pick the best umpire out of the three, the best bouncer, to do all of the bouncing in the middle. If the others don't have the skills,
makes a bit of sense.
Yep. Through the pack, Dunstan. Jones has got the free here.
Jones, time back on, out of the back.
So they can go in quickly. Here comes Stanley to the pocket. It's a good lead. Is it out far enough in front? A little high, that ball. Over the back, though. Opportunity here. Saunders. Right foot snap. I think he's got it. He has.
Nice finish here from Saunders. The banana across the body. What a really good finish, and he's pretty happy with that. Clint Jones has been good. He's up to 12 touches, and he drew a free kick, which set that up.
Out of the middle, sharked on that occasion by Jakey Spencer. Jones squeezed the trigger on the handball. Melbourne at halfback. Let's see how they handle this little bit of pressure. Well done by Frawley and Grimes to combine. In fact, it wasn't Grimes, it was Pedersen.
Sure, Alan Richardson at quarter time said, if they keep going back, press up as hard as you can. See if you can force them into error, because they had a little bit too much space in the first quarter.
Tyson. Leeds come short. He looks for something a bit longer. Vince was coming at him, but Hickey stood in the hole nicely. Gee, that was ordinary. Was that Armitage that kicked that? Gee, Bale gobbles it up.
That was an out-and-out clanger.
Bale now wide. The St Kilda defenders arrive in big numbers. Geary to keep it alive. He needs running support, though. Eventually got it. Opportunity in there. Curran had the initial hands, and now St Kilda through Jones. Find something else. It's Curran again. Little kick along the ground. Not all that composed. Gives them a chance. Saunders again. Hard goer at the footy he is. Did well to rush it forward.
Well, we called David Armitage's kicking clanger out of defensive 50, but he did really well. He didn't dwell on it. He got straight back over and gave some support in the air.
Saints, all the young Saints have got a corporate box here tonight, I believe. Lee Montagna up there just talking them through the finer points of the game. Not a bad idea.
I'd love to have a few of those out there, wouldn't they, Richo? Lenny Hayes, I saw on screen. Adam Snyder floating around, and Joe Montagna. They're all pretty integral. There's Lenny at the back, as well as Adam Snyder. It's a pretty big injury list at the moment, isn't it?
Some experienced players there.
Supposed to be coaching them in there, Joey and Lenny. Not a lot of talking going on. A lot of watching. Glued to this game. It's an intense situation here at the moment.
The times have changed, haven't they? The players aren't playing, just sitting up in the corporate box. I remember my very first game for Richmond Reserves in 1993. After we played in the reserves, we went up to one of the bars and had a few pots and watched the seniors. Oh, imagine doing that now.
Oh, no. Well, we saw Mick Malloy last week doing exactly that.
Do you reckon Lenny and Joey are up there having a beer? No chance.
Good tackle in the end by Cross. There's Farron Ray, did well. Muscled it forward. Got to beat a couple, Rewalt. He was the meat in the sandwich.
Once again, a bit of a broken record at the moment, but it's getting a loose back, a 2-on-1 for Rewalt, making sure this young defence and young team has got some support. I think that will be something that is a given under Paul Roos.
Hickey to Ray. At the back, little quick handball to Jones. Gets a front-on look at the goal. Don't reckon he needed to snap it. Could have gone with the drop punt. Maybe just the way he caught the footy.
Gee, he's had a big night, though, Clint Jones. Stepped up in the absence of those guys we were just talking about. He's had 14 touches.
More than anyone else on the deck, Richo.
When you've tagged for most of your career and they set you free, you want to have 50 possessions to make sure that you keep getting unlocked from that role.
Jones and Trengove combining there. Here's Watts. Wants to get it and go. Nate Jones steady and composed wide to Grimes. So this is where a Melbourne team last year would have just kept going, wouldn't they?
Yeah, no composure, no understanding that there's a time to just maintain possession. Risky kicked that one, well held up by Lyndon Dunn.
Yeah, Nate Jones just probably made the wrong decision there. They were in a slow play situation and just wasn't the time to play on.
Spencer needs someone to get around the back. Maybe not the one you want kicking it. It'll do, though. Made a pretty good job of it. Vince was the target. Howe will soccer off the ground. Geary.
We mentioned the St Kilda players who were out, like it was. Yeah, watching tonight. There's a good grab from Lyndon Dunn under some pressure from Rewalt. But as Richo mentioned at the start, Jesse Hogan was so excited to see their young gun forward playing. He's still out with the back injury. Chris Dawes coming back. And we know Mitch Clark's on leave from the club. So it's a pretty depleted forward half for Melbourne.
Anyone's ball here. Geary's ball smothered by Jones. Now Hickey takes them on dangerously. Gwilt's got to go. Fitzpatrick did well to run him down. He just got rid of the ball in a legal fashion. Now Bale from the right pocket missed. Kicked it really firmly, Bale.
Well, Big Fitzy, he's buying into the new way of playing footy. He wouldn't have thought of doing that in the last couple of years, and now that's the standard. That's the way they want to play Melbourne, and it's going to be a lot more competitive.
I reckon he might have had a hand on the shoulder there.
Yeah, they're letting it go. There's no doubt about that.
Umpiring generally, I think, has been better as a result of it.
Fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, the ones that we're really enjoying are not getting caught with the high tackles where the players are probably ducking into them a bit. They're calling play on, and I think everyone's pretty happy with it.
Armitage. Gwilt hiding behind the umpire there. Goes really wide, Gwilt. Transfer and play to Dempster. And Dempster's got to find the target. He took it on, he ignored the short, and he found the medium and Rewalt.
That was a classic Nick Rewalt play there. That was an 80-metre lead.
Gilbert running really hard. Now he gathers Gilbert. Little right, left footer. Found Savage. Savage about 55 metres out. Stanley wants it in the pocket, he ignores that and goes over the top, and there's no one there. Just get the journey.
Yeah, the work rate from Nick Rewalt there was extraordinary, and because he's prepared to work so hard, he gave his half-backs that outlet kick on the wing, which then got them the inside 50 opportunity.
Risky kick back into play, Hickey. Watts did well to shark the ball, Burns. Shannon Burns now runs, wants the left boot, remember, tried to get back inside on it. And as a result, he was gobbled up in the Dunstan tackle. Umpire pays advantage. Delaney involved.
Hey, Lingy,
now Jones.
Both teams, their pressure seems to have gone up a notch this quarter.
Yeah, without doubt, Richo. both teams are really pressing up at the ball carrier. As soon as it's handballed, they're all coming at it, but Melbourne are out now.
Burns, Bale, boy are they out. Little one over the top to Pedersen in the pocket. It'll be a tough kick. He's got nothing on, so he'll have to go back and kick the set shot.
Jack Watts has quietly amassed 11 disposals already in this game, 9 handballs. He's having a big impact.
Pedersen to a better angle, slightly longer kick, but that won't bother Jones.
Spot on. That's it. Right there, Nathan. So you got the clear mark there.
Filled in most of the arms with the ink over the summer. Has Jones relishing the opportunity to co-captain this side. And that one just to the right.
Yeah, gotcha. Gotcha, mate. Yep.
11 touches already for Nathan Jones.
Probably the next step for him, BT, is to become a goal-kicking midfielder. We know how great he is at that contested footy in and under, but he only kicked the 8 goals last year. If he can add that element to his game, he just becomes so much more damaging for the Melbourne Footy Club.
What's the story down there with Tommy McDonald, Lingy, with that corky?
Well, he looks okay, but it's, as you know, pretty sore. He's not exactly... we haven't seen any movement on the subs vest, let's put it that way, but he's not back in the game at all yet, so I'm not exactly sure, Richo.
He's still down in the rooms, I think, Lingy. Stanley was trying to clear the way for Geary, but it was way over the head, so that was never going to happen. In the end, Jones, fast hands, did it well, and there's a Melbourne player down behind the play. In the meantime, it goes on towards centre wing. Ball high, Dempster did well, Shannon Burns did well. Saunders was in there, and it's Lyndon Dunn behind the play.
Yeah, it looks like he might have copped a decent caught. Oh, yeah, that's a knee right in the fleshy part of the quad, and he'll be sore.
How? Beautiful lead. Tumpus, who's been dangerous up forward. Just a beautiful little soccer. Watts didn't quite read what he was going to do.
Yeah, he's really sore. He's coming off the ground, and Tom McDonald, he's not back up on the bench either, so they're going to have to make a call pretty soon with Tom McDonald.
Jimmy Tumpus, the number 4 draft pick from 2012. Just 12 months on, he looks a little more comfortable out there on the big stage. Hasn't quite fallen his way, but some good signs for him.
The green vest's not even moving, not even warming up down there, so I guess they know something we don't. Meister goes back in for a second crack at the footy. Beautifully taken out there by Curran. Great fluent movement. Frawley. Halfback, switch on here. Vince. Ignores Turley, goes over the top to Watts, and Watts has got a free on. If he can turn and go. A little slow, he can go back inside as well. Ignored both of those, and that's okay if you don't think you can make the kick. And that's beautiful.
Great kick from Jack Watts.
Jones now quite to the advantage of his teammate in Tumpus.
Hey, Lee, what can you tell us? What's happening down there on the interchange bench?
Well, Tommy McDonald's right in front of me. He's been doing a little bit of jogging, just tried a bit of agility then. A touch properly, he's got the right quad bandaged up, so Roosie mentioned the corky, must have been in that right quad area. He looks a little bit sore, but he's at least trying to get himself back out in the ground.
Well, he's lined up in the gates now, so I think we're going to see him shortly, so that's good news. Because he was very solid in that first quarter for the Demons in defence, and here's Rewalt. To Gilbert.
Thanks, Bernie.
Well, with McDonald off the ground, Frawley's gone on to Meister now. That means that Lyndon Dunn's had to go on to Nick Rewalt.
Put too much on it for Ray. Jack Grimes and Savage. Beautifully done, Templeton. Cuts a hole through them all. Did well, Saunders back to Templeton. Templeton for a goal, he's got it. Templeton with his first goal in footy.
So I get the feeling you're going to like Eli Templeton. He's got a bit of something about him. It's an unusual doozer. He's sporting the headband, and he's a good celebrator too. That was pretty impressive from Eli.
He actually lost the headband in the celebration, BT.
And a nice name, gee. There was another player who used to play with a headband. He would have not taken kindly to that in Bruce Dool.
Yeah, he didn't like it coming off the doormat.
But we like what we see in Eli.
Eli's got a little bit more on top than Bruce Dool.
Yeah. Watts. Trengove, a little ball over the top is good. Now what goes on here for the Demons? Mitchie sold the hand dummy. Little ball in, Vince got down low, couldn't quite grab it. Went hard at the footy, then right. Got one high, played on immediately.
Just another example of a desperate St Kilda player. Gwilt lunged and got one hand on, forced the kick to go to ground. Just good pressure.
Starting to ease their way back in. Kicked the last 3 goals, the Saints in this game. Their contested footy has risen.
Yeah, that was Tommy McDonald winning a one-on-one there on Nick Revolt. So that's a really good sign. He's up and moving nicely.
Bale, spearing ball. Once again, too much on it. Had too much on it for Vince.
Bit of a smile there from Roosie. He was pretty happy. Jack Watts, leading possession gatherer for Melbourne with 15. And that will bring a smile to Melbourne supporters' faces as well. He's been a pretty good player in this first half.
8 minutes since Melbourne have laid a tackle in this game. I wonder whether that indicates whether they're getting a little tired. Intensity was there early. Here's Jones out the back for Melbourne now. Jack Grimes, short ball, missed the target. Jones, who's starring with 18 touches of the footy already.
Hasn't got much on here at all, as you can see there. He's got 2 players ahead of him.
He's made Gilbert earn that. Lyndon Dunn was looking outside to Stanley, and Gilbert knew he'd made the mistake the moment he let go of the handball.
Sam Gilbert would be a big project player for me if he had anything to do with St Kilda. The grand final years, he was one of the real gut runners, and he used to break the lines regularly, and then he lost his confidence and lost his way a little bit. And
a few injuries have come too, which hasn't helped his confidence.
He's young enough to still be an elite player. I think a new coach would be wanting to get hold of him and get him back to his best.
Great desperation by Farron Ray. He thought he was going to be pinged for a moment.
Melbourne will have the extra player at this stoppage. No numbers back.
Armitage did well to spoil the party, though. Down to Dunn, Savage wearing him.
Yeah, there's no numbers back for Melbourne, but Robin has gone back for the Saints, so there's an extra player around the stoppage here for the Deuce.
Hickey. Low ball. Geary now. Jones picks it up. Rewalt.
Richo, you picked that. And I don't think that's the way they want to play. I think Paul Roos would look at that and say, no point having an extra number there. Do you agree, Lingy? I think that he would definitely want someone back there to make sure that didn't happen. A 2-on-1 they need on Rewalt.
Well, absolutely, Darcy. Richo was spot on pointing that out. If you're going to have that extra number at the stoppage, you've got to win it.
260th game for Nick Rewalt, and he slid that one through very nicely. 4 in a row for the Saints. Richo, you mentioned it earlier, but the contested pressure acts, contested footy has turned this for the Saints.
Yeah, it took them half the first quarter to get going, but since then, they've dominated.
Alan Richardson would be ecstatic. Yeah. You see the Melbourne player running to the umpire there. Through the middle with a Pedersen ball long to Watts. Fitzpatrick bearing down. Can he get boot to ball? No.
He's got some toe for a big man.
He's got really good dukes as well, Richo. Yeah. He can really clunk them overhead. His disposal by foot is probably the thing he wants to work on, but put on the speed then.
Webster, who kicked that footy, one of their better kicks in their youngsters. Here's Bale.
He's got Trengove out wide here, all alone. Just hasn't been able to see him.
Jack Watts deep in a one-on-one, just a bit too slow here.
Bale from just near the edge of the square. Probably never going to get the journey and point in the end.
Well, that's just in between nothing there for Bale. Either go really quick and try and get the one-on-one, or slow it down. They've got to get numbers back and just place it to the top of the square. So still a pretty basic error, that one.
Yeah, he's spot on, Dust. I reckon coaches hate the kick that goes to the goal line. If you're going to have a shot at goal, make sure you can kick it or probably pop it up 10, 15 metres out.
Yep. Delaney. Where was that going? Trengove steps in. And That just ruffles the feathers of Alan Richardson just a touch.
He's a pretty composed unit, your old teammate, Alan Richardson, but we talk about it being a stressful job. You can just see already he's twitching a bit. When you see a young player do that, that's a coach killer.
But I reckon that's the third time now a kick coming out of defence has resulted in a shot at goal with a turnover.
80th game for Trengove. As he lines up, got it all to do about 48 metres out. That angle there, and that won't come back enough. Just looking at the Saints, Lingy, Webster, Dunstan, Billings, Templeton, Nunes. They're probably all the better kicks, the youngsters in their side, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, BT, and I suppose that's the exciting part about the Saints' future. Now, they'll take a while to get the composure and experience to be able to use that kicking to their advantage, but it means when they can get the ball in their hands, those young players, they can be damaging, and they won't just butcher the ball when they know they can work out where they're kicking the ball in the first place.
Jimmy Webster's the one that's really like to get it in the hand of. His beautiful left foot kick, Webster.
Too high, Melbourne free.
So Jones.
Protect the ball play, Nick.
Got to protect the ball player, the umpire said. Just over the mark and found the intended target. Now here's Bernie Vince. Turns Gary inside, a chance to get back on the right, and that's off to the left. So he's been a little offline tonight, Bernie. Cursing himself.
Poor kick in.
Delaney again, I think it was. Here's Watts now. Can he capitalise? Robertson could smother the Saints. They now arrive in big numbers. Gee, Delaney's made a couple of blues there. Does.
Yeah, just trying to bite off a little bit more than perhaps he's capable of at the moment, young Delaney. I think there's something to like for Kilda supporters and Melbourne supporters already. You don't ask for much when you're a fan. You just want to see your side competitive, try hard, and look like they're really fighting. It's a good game, this. It's a good contest. And they're both, it's intensity and courage, back with the flight. I'm really enjoying a new look for both teams. And I think you'd be pretty happy, Lingy, wouldn't you, if you were involved in both sides. They really look like they've got a harder edge about them already. Spot on, Das. Absolutely correct. As a supporter, you just want your team to be having an absolute crack. Take real pride in the jumper. And both these teams are doing exactly that. Fitzpatrick, a worry, goes down the race as well. And on the lead is Pedersen. So another possible injury for Melbourne as Pedersen will line up from about 48 metres out. Nice jukes, got him out in front. The defender no chance to get a fist to it. So Pedersen with a fairly long run up. He'll have to end up kicking it from about 48. There it is, and that's not coming back either. In fact, barely made the distance. Kilda helps it over. So what's that? 8 straight behinds now for the Demons. 10 in a row. They were 2 straight, Bristol. They've kicked 10 behind since then, so that is clearly not going to help. There's Gilbert. St Kilda having trouble getting it out of this end of the ground in the last couple of minutes. Geary knew he was out of position, did well just to bring the ball to the ground, and a clumsy tackle then perhaps. Umpire lets it go, Giorgio. Saunders did well, Ray. Fast, lightning hands. It was good. Nunes is in there. Here they come. The troops arrive. I think it might have been Wright that initially won the footy, and it was. Free kick, though, will go to Cross. BT, Melbourne have made their sub. Young Jay Kennedy-Harris just running onto the ground now. Not exactly certain who it is, but I think it's Big Fitzpatrick who's been subbed off, but I'll follow that up. Well, it would be Lingy, because he's the only one that's gone down to the race and hasn't reappeared yet. Yeah, must be BT. So Kennedy-Harris is into the game. Bit of a blow, Das. Well, that is a massive blow, because we've spoken about their forward line being depleted of tools. Well, Big Fitzy was the only one that was, you know, of height that could compete down there, so that leaves them really, really short. Nothing strategic in that. He's obviously got a game-ending injury, Big Jack. We'll find out from Lingy a bit later on exactly what's happened there. So the activated sub for the Demons, Kennedy-Harris. Funny little kick from Giorgio. Kennedy-Harris, you can see there in the middle of your screen running along. He's a neighbours actor, about to get his first touch right here and right now. Done a bit of acting work on Neighbours.
I think he's been on a couple of ads as well.
Turned 19 yesterday. He kicked 3 goals versus Richmond in the NAB challenge. So, Jay Kennedy Harris.
Tom McDonald.
Yep, right there.
That corky. Really nice body position from Dom Tyson, but a hand in the back, he said.
Hand in the back.
Rewalt, 1 out. She moved him under the footy very nicely. Giorgio then. There's Grimes, the left footer around the corner. It was really good. And they can get it and go here, the Demons, if they want to move it fast. Burns. Under the wing. Pumpers presents and got good jukes overhead. A minute left.
That's it now.
Yeah, the ability to honour that lead-up target and use it by foot is a real Paul Roux skill that he values, certainly in his days at the Sydney Swans. You can see that they've now got this composure in their game. They know that you don't have to go flat out the whole time. Sometimes it's just this, hold on to the footy for a little while.
Frawley goes down the line. Vince is the target. Farron Ray across the front.
Oh, there, Daniel.
Immediately inside, good player Ray. Found Geary. Could have kept running. He went wide of the pocket. Hickey was there. And Grimes did well with the lack of height to edge him under the footy.
It's a big one-on-one play there from Jack Grimes. A key moment deep into the final seconds of the first half. And a bit of composure here from Melbourne's impressive.
Kumpus to Jones. 10 seconds, so probably get the feeling there'll be no further score here. Been a good quarter for the Saints in terms of scoring. They've kicked all 3 goals of the quarter. And a really tight game at the moment, Darce.
Entertaining first half, Bristol. I really enjoyed the contest. I love the contrasting styles and trying to get your head around what both teams are trying to do. Melbourne have got some real issues now for me with Fitzpatrick off and issues in their forward line. Let's get down to Richo. He's got Bernie Vince with him.
Yeah, Bernie, your first game at a new club. How are you finding it out there?
Yeah, it's been good. I thought the intensity was up in that first quarter. We allowed them to get back in the game a little bit in that second quarter. So we need to just take the ball cleanly. A few fumbles out there, which have cost us. And my finishing on goal, I've hit the post a couple of times and missed. So I need to start kicking goals.
The last part of that quarter there, you went into slow play a few times. Is that something you've been working on over the pre-season?
Yeah, it has. We've been working on a number of things, but that's one thing, you know, late in quarters and stuff that we've been trying to do, or when the opposition get a run on. So I think all teams do it. It's just a matter of being able to hit that kick.
Thanks, Bernie.
No, thanks.
So Bernie Vince there down there with Richo. And a really good quarter for the Saints. Let's get down to Cameron Ling. Lingy, can you hear us?
He does. Oh.
Okay, go to Lingy in just a moment. By the way, that quarter, 3 goals to St Kilda to 0-8 Melbourne.
Yeah, it was competitive. It was just the finishing, as you pointed out, that was the difference for St Kilda. I think a bit to work on for both sides, but a lot to like it. As we said, they have competed hard. I like the look of that man there, Eli Templeton, on debut, has shown a little bit. It's half-time here, and the Saints lead it by 7 points.
Coming up on the halftime show, all the first half fallout, and we cross down to Lingy in the Saints rooms. We'll also head to Baz at Footy Central for all the latest news and highlights. Stick around.